Our next subject is transfer techniques. Personal skill 8A. Our performance objective is to transfer a client from bed to chair or wheelchair, or from chair back into bed. Under the performance behaviors, we have 6 things listed. Number 1, and one of the most important things, is positioning and securing the chair or wheelchair parallel to the bed. Parallel means if you had 2 lines, 2 straight lines, they never touch. That means they always stay the same distance apart. So if you look at the bed, it's running this way. The chair or wheelchair should also be running the same direction. What we're creating is a 90-degree angle to get a patient in and out of bed. The wheelchair, you can either put it this direction, but most of the patients you're going to take care of, they have a bed stand at the top. So you're not going to be able to get this there. What you could do is put the wheelchair there, unlock the bed, pull the bed down to where you can get the wheelchair up high enough to get a 90-degree angle. If not, then you want to turn the wheelchair around the other direction. Put it at the foot of the bed. The problem with this is you have to lift the legs over the wheelchair when you're setting a patient up. So I'd much rather have it at the head. You can do it this way, it's just a little bit harder. Okay, so you position it, and then it says secure it. How do you secure it? Lock these wheels every time, because when you don't, and you got to get the person up, and as soon as their legs touch it, it's going to go backwards, and then the patient's going to go down on the floor instead of in the chair where you want them. Okay, that's number 1. We got the wheelchair in the right position. Now the bed's up too high for me to be getting her in and out, so let me lower that down. Number 2. Moves client to the side of the bed next to the chair or wheelchair. Carmen already says she's paralyzed, so she ain't helping me. It's easier to go from a higher.
Yeah, Jim, the bed's off.
Oh, you know, that's because there's that container underneath. It's just not allowing us to go down that side. This is an automatic turn bed. Roll you side to side. That's better. Okay, let's cut this in here. So we're going to move her to the side. We're going to bring your shoulders over.
I had a couple of patients like this.
Bring this over.
Would you have a draw sheet under there?
You could use a draw sheet. Now, I don't want to rip or tear your clothes, but if you pull it, you can get your hands under and pull towards you. It's much easier than trying to push. You don't want to go on the other side and push. You always want to pull towards you. I'll show you this later, but if the patient slides down too far in bed, now that we're talking about pulling, you put the feet all the way up, put the head all the way down, and get up around the top, and you get underneath them, and you pull towards you, and they're sliding downhill, so gravity's actually helping you, and you're in the pulling direction, which you should be stronger pulling than pushing with your arm.
Thank you.
Okay, number 2 is done. She is positioned correctly toward this side of the bed that we're going to get her in and out of. Number 3, assist client to sitting position and assist client to put on sturdy non-slip shoes. Now she already got her non-slip shoes on. Perfect. Honey, we're going to go ahead and set you up now. Okay, now we take the feet and bring them over, and we bring the head up at the same time. Now, since she's so tall, her feet ain't touching the floor, we just got to bring them out. And what you can do to your patient is grab a hold of the hip and pull forward, pull forward. If they have a good sitting tolerance, which means that they can sit, you can take your hands off of them, then you can actually just help pull on their legs on their knees. You're supposed to have a good sitting tolerance. I'm working hard. Okay. Number 4, assist client to standing position, maintaining proper body mechanics and using assistive devices. Some patients will use a walker at this point. Some will use a cane at this point. What are you going to use? Nothing, just me.
Now, if she was really paralyzed, would she actually be able to stand if you positioned her in that position?
This is not a paralyzed person. She's just playing.
Don't you want to move the legs of the chair back? You
Actually,
don't hit into those.
I flipped them up. You could move it back, but I flipped the foot pads up so that when she comes down, they shouldn't be in the way.
Yeah, I
You
set
can.
them up and stuff.
There's lots of different kinds of leg rests on wheelchairs. Most of them have a button on the side. You just push, and it'll open. It'll swing it right out away from you. I had it like that until we moved the wheelchair. I'm closing it.
I'll try to just going to help you.
Yeah.
Give me y'all a good example. That's hard work.
Okay, maintaining proper body mechanics is very important. You don't want to be with your back. You want to try with your legs if you're helping someone up. Okay, we're gonna show them several different types. Okay, the first type is someone that can stand by themselves. This is called a spot assist. I'm standing here, and all I want you to do, now that you've set up for a couple minutes, like I'd say 2 minutes, you're not dizzy, there's no pain, you're not short of breath, no headache, no, what else? Okay, so she's fine, she's stable. And then I only have my hand on her, I'll say, okay honey, you can go ahead and stand now. So go ahead and stand. Your hand can go on a chair if you need help to push up. Good? They're able to do it themselves. I'm here in case she needs me. If she don't need me, I don't do anything. That's pretty much a spot assist. Okay, go ahead and sit back down. The next one is someone that needs a minimal assist. Minimal to moderate. Well, I'd say 20% or more, up to about 40 to 50%, which means I'm going to do almost half. Put your right hand on the wheelchair, and you're going to get your nose over your toes, which is very important. Her nose over her toes. That way, she has that momentum going forward to push the rear end up off of the bed. 1, 2, 3, push. Good. So I did 20%. She did 80%. Next would be someone that requires about 50%. We don't do deadlift transfers. Deadlift is someone that cannot help you at all. We don't do that. Now this is trying to get me to deadlift. This is someone who needs about 50%. And it is okay for them to say, go ahead, put your hands up around my neck, give me a hug. Now you put your hands up underneath of their armpits, either this way or like this, or you grab their pants on the sides. Don't grab them in the back because you give them away. You can grab them on the sides. And you take your knees on the outside of their knees and you lock them. My knees are touching the outside of her knees. That way, once we're up, if her knee goes to give out, my knee's in front of it. It can't bend. It won't bend. Okay, we're going to stand on 3. 1, 2, 3, push. Good. Now, once we're up, we're going to turn. Go ahead and shuffle your feet. Now, if she can, you can put your left hand back on the wheelchair. Back up a little bit until you feel the chair hit behind your legs, and then have a seat. Very good.
Comfortable?
Okay.
Get comfortable.
Now, before you move again, let's see what the next step is. Number 5, assist client to pivot into the chair, which we did. And number 6, assist client back in the bed simply by reversing everything we did. She would get up from here, we would assist her to turn and assist her to sit. If she was able to do most of it on her own, you simply just may need to put a walker up in front of her. And say, okay, Nellie, lean forward and let's push. 1, 2, 3. Get it turned. Okay, and once you back up, you'll feel it against the back of your legs. It's important to tell them that. Back, don't sit until you feel it hit your legs. Then you know it's there. And then have them put their hand back before they sit down. Thank you, Carmen.
Oh my! Nellie hit her head.
Next we have ambulation, personal care skill number 8B. And the performance objective is to assist the client to walk independently and with at least 2 assistive devices. Number 1, first and foremost, the patient must have non-skid footwear. Sturdy, non-slip footwear to stand. Okay, so we've got the person up there standing. What you need to do is walk with the client for the prescribed time and distance, providing as much physical support as needed. There are times when the doctor will specifically order a patient to walk so many feet, so many times a day.
They're kind of lopsided, aren't they?
Yeah.
You don't have to figure that one. Well, there's about 10 of them in the back. So depending upon which two I grabbed, they might not have been the same.
You had to go down with that.
Very good. Okay. So the doctor may say the patient needs to walk 50 feet 3 times a day. So you get them up, and the living room is 16 foot long. So 3 trips back and forth would be 45 feet. That's almost close enough, and then 5 feet back to the bed or the chair. But number 3, assist client in the use of at least 2 assisted devices, such as a walker, cane, crutches, quad cane, and Canadian crutches, depending upon the device used. Include the following. A, always place the device within easy reach, especially if you're going down to the do laundry. You know, the patient's sitting there in their chair and they use a walker or they use a cane. Make sure the walker or the cane is set right beside them before you leave, because if not, as soon as you go out the door, you're going to hear thump, and here they're going to be laying on the floor because they got up to go get their walker because you left it across the other side of the room. They'll always do it. B, position walker with the open side toward the client. That way when they go to stand up, they don't have to turn the walker around and fall trying to turn the walker around. You don't want to place it this way. That's what they're saying. It's got to be this way. And C, encourage the client to bear weight on their hands and not the axilla when using crutches. So we'll start with the crutches. Okay, my left leg is bad. So I'm holding it up in the air. And when I walk, all of my weight should be on my hands. There shouldn't be any pressure at all. There should actually be about an inch between where underneath of my armpit, that's called the axilla, and the top of the crutch is hitting. It shouldn't hit there at all. So if you ever have a patient that has crutches, you now know how to use them correctly. Difficulty will be going up and down steps. Okay, and most people follow this rule. You go up with the good and down with the bad. Anybody ever heard that before? Up with the good and down with the bad. Okay, again, my left leg is the bum leg. I'm going up some steps. Hopefully you're here to help me because I'll give you one of these to carry. If not, normally they'll put 2 of them in one hand. Like this. Holding on to the stair rail. Up with the good, down with the bad. This foot would go up by itself, and then I would bring this and my handrail at the same time. That's how you would go up with the good. Coming down with the bad is if you could put some weight on it. You would go the bad foot first, and then with this and the handrail, and then bring the good foot down second. Bad foot down, all 3 of these come second. Bad foot down, all 3 of these come second. Normally it works best that way. Okay, for the walker. How many of you seen elderly people use a walker and they go like this?
Carry it.
That's not how you use a walker. Okay, me too. You don't want your heels to come inside of this, the box that's underneath it here, that all the legs make. See that like a rectangle? Use your imaginary lines all the way across. You don't want them to get their feet all the way in here, because if that happens, they're going to fall. You want the walker to go first, and then the patient to step up to the back of the walker. That way, I'm not going to tip. Walker goes first, step up to the back of the walker. If a patient doesn't have the strength or the grip in the hands to lift the walker, to move it forward, they have a walker that has wheels on the front and on the back. The best thing to do, they have pads, but yeah, you take a tennis ball, cut it in a cross shape, and put it up underneath there. And you'll be surprised how it eliminates the friction. And when you're going over some bumps, easily the back of it goes over those little bumps, like thresholds in between doorways from tile carpeting. But yeah, they can just push it along and they can walk. That way, if their knee gives out, they've already got something that's going to give them a nice, firm, stable hold. Now we've got two different types of canes here. This is a straight cane, which is also adjustable, different lengths. Just by simply pushing the button. This is low, too low for me. It should be right about the hip, depending upon how tall your patient is. That's better. When you're using the cane should be on the side of the bad foot. Every time the bad foot goes forward, the cane goes forward. Now, if my left foot was bad, it would be like this. This will give you a lot more stability left to right. I've seen a lot of these canes where this rubber thing comes off the end of it, and the patient loses it, well, they're still using it. It's okay on carpet, but what's going to happen when they hit tile or hardwood? It's going to go straight out to the side. Yeah. So make sure that that rubber end's on the bottom. They sell these at the pharmacy. They're real cheap if you lose them. Like this is missing two of them on the inside. This cane is much more stable than this cane. This cane you could use for someone that had, maybe just a slight stroke, a little bit of weakness on one side, maybe foot surgery, something like that. But they still have some pretty good balance. If their balance isn't good enough for that, this is called a quad cane. Quad meaning four, because there's 4 points where it touches the floor. And because there's 4 points instead of one, it's much more stable. This can be used in the left hand or in the right hand. But if you look at the bottom of it, this side here is flat, pretty much. Where this side sticks out a lot farther. This is the inside of this cane. So this cane right now is set up for the left hand. If it were to be for the right hand, spin it. Now the flat side is to the inside for the right hand. Use this one the same as you use that one. Bad foot forward with the cane, then bring the good foot forward. Bad foot forward with the cane, then bring the good foot forward.
Maybe fun. Who has the white card first?
Here we go. Okay, same thing with the cane as with the crutches, and even the walker. Up with the good, down with the bad when you're doing steps. The best thing is for you to be behind them if they're going up the steps. If they're coming down the steps, the best thing for you to be is in front of them. I would keep my hands out, maybe holding their hand. You could do underneath the arm as you're coming down with them or going up with them also. That would also be safe. If they have a belt on, I like to put my hand on their belt. That way if they go down, I got something I can grab a hold of that's not going to slip. And number 4, ask the client to report any weakness, dizziness, uncertainty, discomfort, or pain. That's important. If any of that occurs when you're trying to ambulate them, you should stop, let them sit down, and wait until it passes. Give about 10 minutes. If it doesn't pass, pick up the phone, get a hold of someone. Okay, there's 2 types of range of motion exercises, passive and active. Our performance objective for this is personal care skill 9A. Conduct passive range of motion exercises and assist client to exercise joints with active range of motion exercises. We're going to do passive first. Move affected joints through prescribed range of motion to the extent possible while providing support above and below the joint without the client's assistance. The key word here is without. You do absolutely nothing. Okay? Without. So, even if she was laying in bed or if she was sitting up somewhere, it's okay. You can do what's called passive range of motion. Every joint How many joints are there in the finger? 3. There's the proximal, distal, and medial joint. Right here, right here, right here. You have 3. Now in the thumb, you only have 2. Okay.
That's where the line.
Middle finger, there's 3. Ring finger, 3. Pinky, 3. So you want every joint, you want to go through the range of motion. These are hinge joints. So it's just up and down. You want to do that about 10 or 20 times. And then once you're done with that, you move to the bottom joint. You do that about 10 or 20 times. And this is a circular joint, so you can actually go into a circle as well. Then you move to the next finger, and you do every joint. The last knuckle, before and after, you're providing support. So you do the one all the way on the end. Then you do the middle joint. Then you do the base joint. Then you go to the next one, next one, next one. Then you get to the wrist. Wrist you can do up and down, providing support in front of and behind. And it's also a circular joint. You can go to the right, and you can circle to the left. Then you get to the elbow. The elbow is a hinge joint. 20 times. All you're doing is preventing the body from contracting. You know, if someone doesn't use a muscle, it'll get tight. It'll start to what they call atrophy. It'll decrease in size. It'll decrease in strength, and it'll lock up. And the patient will get in what's called a fetal position, where their hands, their fingers, their elbows, and then their heels come all the way up to their buttocks, both of them. And that's how they look. And once they get to that point, very rarely can you get that undone. They actually have to have surgery where they cut the muscle and release it if it's causing that muscle problem, especially if the heels are digging into the rear end and there's real bad bed sores on the heels or on the rear end. They'll cut those muscles to release those so that they'll lay down, and they won't suture those muscles back together to the bone. They'll leave them unattached. Okay, so we got that. Now we got the shoulder, up and down, front and back, and this is also a circular joint. Forward, back. Then you move to the legs. You got the toes, the ankles, the knees, and then the hips. It's easier to do when they're sitting down or if they're laying in bed, where you can do the actual range of motion. That's the first type, it's passive. Second type is active. That's where you assist the patient to move affected joints through prescribed range of motion to the extent possible while providing support above and below the joint. Now I'm going to do it. We've already done the hand, already done the wrist, we're at the elbow. All I'm doing is providing support. She's doing all the work. I'm just guiding. She's moving it. I'm not. That's active. And number 3, the last thing says instruct client to exercise unaffected joints using full range of motion for each particular joint. Exercise as described in the instruction material. There you go. Range of motion exercises. Those should be ordered by the doctor. If you're in a home, the patient's getting those contractures, they're not moving well, you can contact the visiting nurses, or you can contact the doctor's office, get that ordered for the patient so that we're allowed to perform that. Okay, skill number 9B, positioning. Assist the client to be repositioned by moving up in bed or by turning to side. We did turn to the side earlier. We'll go over that real quick again. When you're turning a patient in bed, the best thing to do is have them uncross their legs, unless you're using a draw sheet. We're going to bend up the knee closest to us. We're going to ask if they can to hold on to the side rail, and then we're just going to push, and they'll go over very easily. Okay, come on back. Make sure that the bed rail's up opposite you. If you're using the draw sheet, you'll have to get that out and show you that one. Here's the draw sheet. We're going to roll you over again. Thank you. We use the draw sheet. Okay, you can come on back. And then come this direction and slide it through. Okay, make sure there's no wrinkles in it, right? Now, if we're using this as a draw sheet to assist the patient to turn, what I like to do, and they can't hold their legs up, is cross the legs. Don't do anything. And just pull it towards you. And give it a nice, firm but smooth, pull over to the side. And that'll help get them over to the side, especially when you're back here and you're trying to get the patient cleaned up from behind, when you're trying to put diapers on, take them off. When you're changing bed linens, what you would do, we'll get to that. It's easier to use this whenever the patient's bed. Okay, removes all pillows and bed covers that might restrict movement. If I had pillows over here underneath of this arm, and I had pillows over here, and a pillow up there, how am I going to roll her that way when everything's in the way? Plain and simple. Unless I roll her on top of all of them. Just get them out of the way before you turn them. That way there's nothing restricting you. Please watch their face whenever you're going that direction on the side rail. You don't want to bounce it off of them. Reposition the client to move up in bed or to turn on side, assuring correct body alignment to the extent possible. What they're saying is try and keep them straight. You know, I mean, if you got the feet hanging out over here, and the head's hanging out over here, and the rear end's over that way, just try to keep the center of your spine in a straight line. Now, I had mentioned earlier how to pull up someone in bed. It's real easy. Whenever they've slid down too far, and I'm going to slide you down just a little bit. Good. So your feet's hitting the rail. One night I was at a patient's house. The patient slid down, feet hit the rail all night long. Next morning I went back. The whole heel, about this size, was open. Big blister, busted. Just, the family didn't know, and it was really sad. Then we had to do wound care on the heels to get them healed back up. But when a patient is too far down in bed and you're at home and you're by yourself, how do you get them up? You put the feet up. You're going to feel like you're standing on top of your head here for a minute. You put the head all the way down. If there's a draw sheet, you can use the draw sheet. If there's not a draw sheet, you just want to put your hands underneath their shoulders and you're going to pull her downhill. If they can help you a little bit, the best thing for them to do is to raise both of their knees. Raise both of your knees for me. This patient's a good patient. Now, I'm going to grab the sheet. We're just going to pull it toward me. You see how easy that is? Now, when you do that, watch your head. Because when you go like this and pull hard, you're going to hear their head hitting off the headboard. Be careful about that. But allow gravity to help you. That's the easiest way to pull someone up in bed when you're by yourself.